Most comic fans are at least passingly familiar with the origin of Spider-Man. Spidey first appeared in Amazing Fantasy number 15 in 1962, in which high school student Peter Parker was bitten by a radioactive spider and somehow gained superpowers. Peter first tested his powers at a local gym, which was offering a cash prize to anybody who could last 3 minutes in the wrestling ring against Crusher Hogan. Peter, of course, donned a quick makeshift costume and easily bested his larger opponent. But just who was Crusher Hogan? What's his story? Well, that question was answered 40 years later in Spider-Man's Tangled Web number 14. Hogan was a wrestler, and a damn good one at that. However, while he was skilled, the crowds just weren't big enough. His manager, Bobby, talked to him privately and admitted they didn't even have enough money to make payroll. Bobby also knew that Crusher, who was his best wrestler, had gotten an offer from a rival gym, and honestly, Bobby just told him he should take it and leave. Hogan hated the idea of joining up with another gym, especially one that was obsessed with gimmicks. He didn't want the face paint or the costumes or any of that nonsense. Not only that, but even though the gym wasn't doing well, Crusher was still the best thing they had, and he didn't want to leave Bobby and his friends hanging, even though his wife told him he should. But then Hogan hit on an idea. In his next match, he was not only savage in the ring, but on the mic as well. Yelling out to the audience, he disrespected the sport, he disrespected his friends, and most of all, he disrespected everyone listening to him, doing everything he could to make them hate him. He knew that if he did that, they'd respond to his challenge. He borrowed the prize money from a local mob boss, and Bobby, knowing Hogan was onto something big, put up flyers advertising the challenge. $10,000 to the man who could last 3 minutes in the ring with Crusher Hogan. The fans hated him, they booed him, but they showed up in droves to do it. The seats were full, the stage was set, and whatever man managed to defeat Crusher Hogan would be a hero. So that's the secret backstory to Crusher Hogan. This video is probably a little short at this point, so here's a few more random thoughts and facts. First off, the actual amount of prize money was actually retconned between Amazing Fantasy number 15 and Tangled Web number 14, and it's more than just inflation. In Amazing Fantasy number 15, the prize is stated to be $100, which doesn't seem like a lot nowadays. Adjusting for inflation, $100 in 1962 translates to roughly $590 in 2002 when Tangled Web number 14 was published. Still far short of the $10,000 seen in this story. 2002 was also the year that Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man movie was released, where the prize money was $3,000. In the movie, Hogan was renamed Bone Saw McGraw, and he was played by the famous professional wrestler, Macho Man Randy Savage. While I don't know if there's ever been an official statement on this, I suspect Hogan was renamed in the movie at least in part due to Randy Savage's rivalry with fellow wrestler Hulk Hogan. Although I would like to assume that Bonesaw McGraw has a similar backstory to Crusher Hogan, and that his boastful attitude was also an act in order to incite the crowd and help save his friend's business. Kinda gives some new perspective on a minor character. Finally, Crusher Hogan appeared again in 1985's Amazing Spider-Man number 271, now working as a janitor at his old gym and regaling people with tales of how he fought the masked Marvel who later became the Amazing Spider-Man. He also reveals that after Spidey beat him in the ring, Hogan became his teacher, training him in endurance, agility, and designing his web shooter and his original costume. Or at least that's how Hogan tells the story. Well, that's all I've got for today. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it and you want to see more, subscribe, and let me know what Marvel characters you want to know more about in the comments below. You can also like this video, share it on Facebook and Twitter, but you probably already knew that. What you might not know is that I'm also on Patreon, so on the off chance that you have too much money and you want to give me some, then there's a way for you to do that. Until next time, true believers, Excelsior!